Good evening. Welcome to the July 22nd Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor Gentry?
Here.
Becky McClure is absent this evening. Bill Stoner?
Present.
Dick Robertson? Also absent. And Alan Milburn?
Present.
Thank you.
All right, so we do have 3 of the 5, so we do have a quorum tonight. Do we have the minutes? We don't. Okay. All right, move on to department head reports. First up will be the police department. Chief Morgan.
Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 951 calls for service, and a total of 21 people were arrested for the following crimes: 4 for operating while intoxicated, 6 were wanted on a warrant, 2 for domestic battery, 2 for resisting law enforcement, 1 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of cocaine, 1 for intimidation, 1 for auto theft, 1 for public intoxication, 1 for obstruction of justice, and 1 for invasion of privacy. In that same time frame, LPD took 28 crash reports and sent 2 handgun permits off to the state for final approval. July 12th through the 14th, LPD hosted a 3-day gun sight class on our range. The class covered marksmanship, gun handling, and mindset. Since we hosted it, Officer Bell was able to attend this class for free. On July 15th and 16th, LPD hosted a 2-day class on our range. It was .1 tactics. This was an advanced class, mainly focused on pistol shooting. Officer Jason Morgan was able to attend. Once again, this was free since we hosted it. July 17th through the 19th, the Boone County Special Response Team put on active shooter training for all Boone County law enforcement. The goal was to develop better tactics and teamwork. Since it was everybody in the county, we're also able to do standard training on responding to active events. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board?
No.
From the public? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Fire Department. Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has responded to 118 emergency calls for service, logged 300 training hours, completed 99 commercial inspections, finalized 9 commercial pre-plans, and we hosted 3 CPR classes. Today, lateral transfer firefighter Evan Henkel started his 40-hour basic training. We often call this Hell Week. He's a lateral transfer, so he's been through an academy. We use this 40-hour week to refresh his skills, and then we evaluate at the end of the 40 hours, is he shift ready? Do we need to do more remedial training? So that's what we're evaluating this week. Last week, LFD crews completed 3 days of live fire training. The evolutions focused on preparing firefighters to exit a basement without a usable stairway and to complete a rescue while doing that. And I shared some pictures with the email I sent out that represents what the firefighters did those 3 days. The LFD admin chiefs facilitated the training. We're having issues again with the tornado siren located at Enterprise and Mount Zion. We're currently working with Adams Electric, Boone County EMA, and Boone County Communications and trying to get this situation figured out. It appears to be working fine mechanically. It's a signaling issue when the tones go off for the tornado siren. So I wanted to make the public aware that we know that it's malfunctioning, and we're working on it this week to resolve the issue. Tomorrow, the LFD and Boone County Health Department inspection team will be visiting the Boone County Fair. The group will be inspecting a variety of different things throughout the fair, everything from the food vendors to the rides themselves. We just want everyone to have a fun and safe fair week this week. We have a great relationship with the Boone County Health Department, and we put together a nice inspection team with them. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the board? From the public? Thank you, sir. Next will be Parks and Recreation. John Messenger.
Good evening. The Splash Pad and Seashore Water Park have been very popular with a bunch of summer camps and daycare groups attending throughout the weeks. I think one day we had Westfield, Zionsville, and Carmel Clay all in there, along with all the other patrons we had. So it's been really nice weather for that. The storms kept maintenance really busy with all the trees and limbs in the park, as well as the trail. I want to thank the ARC. They come out every Tuesday and bring a group out. They help us with cleaning up sticks, a lot of different projects, power washing the trash cans, splitting wood. But just picking up those sticks throughout all these storms, it's really nice to have that group come out. They've done that for several years, and it's just a nice relationship, partnership we have with ARC. I want to just give them a shout out. We have filled our openings in the maintenance department. We had 3 openings. We'll be fully staffed by mid-August. Have a guy starting Wednesday and another week from Wednesday. So looking forward to that anyway, being staffed up. Our maintenance department and Department of Public Works took part in a trenching and shoring training session. That was courtesy of the Indiana Municipal Power Agency. They do several training sessions with us throughout the year. Excuse me, and I want to thank them. Serve Day was a huge success with free eye exams, clothes, backpacks, school supplies, and more. Offered free food and free entry into Seashore Water Park. I'd like to thank the many, many volunteers that are even possible to make this possible. If you saw the park Saturday, it's heartwarming. What a community we have to all that. 900 some backpacks, I think, were given out, something ridiculous, and all the school supplies. I just can't thank them enough. They do that every year, and it's just wonderful. They're taking care of a big need that we have. Our July swim lessons will finish tomorrow evening, and all lessons will be done for the summer. We had around 120 kiddos registered for June and July, and hope everyone had a great time learning skills. Mayor, you have a kiddo there, and you probably got to see him about twice with all the meetings that you've been again this evening. Sneak out early and go see your kid swim. He's doing great. The kids love him, the guards. And I want to thank you for joining that. Our mother-son pool party was a success with great weather and a good turnout. Look forward to next year. Be hosting another story time in the cabin tomorrow evening from 5 to 6. Come visit Barbie and listen to a story while making a craft. The cost is $5 per child. Our 2024 Daddy-Daughter Dance will be held on Saturday, August 24th from 6 to 8. You can pre-register on our website. Cost includes dinner. The last weekend for Seashore Water, or weekday for Seashore Water Park, will be Monday, August 5th. All the kiddos are going back to school and we lose all our help. We will still be open every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays only throughout the end of the month. And we always have that free splash pad just right down the street on Northeast Street there at Abner Longley. I also, Reese Park was paved all the parking this last week. I want to thank Triangle Asphalt, thank the mayor and the council for supporting that and getting that done. They're very thankful out there, and it's really a nice addition to that park. And that's all I had.
John, any questions for John from the board?
No.
Public? Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you. Good evening. A couple project updates around the city. Let's start at the Chadwick neighborhood, the drainage ditch on the north side of the neighborhood. Still working with our consultants. We've gotten some feedback from the county surveyor's office, which is really, they've asked us to get a meeting set up with DNR and IDEM to try to come up with some creative solutions to solving that issue that will not involve extensive mitigation. So we're meeting with those authorities, or getting a meeting set up with those authorities to discuss that. Grant Street, really phase 1 is done. So we're wrapping up that and looking towards phase 2. Happy to report that as of late last week, all of our utility relocation plans are final. So really our next steps aiming towards a letting in July of next year, about a year from today, actually, is just to finalize those utility relocation plans and get those processes started and getting ready for that construction letting. Elizaville Road, we've had good conversations with really about 2 property owners that are kind of on the fence on executing their easement agreements, but those conversations have gone really well, and so I'm hopeful within the next couple of days we'll have that behind us and can issue the authorization to proceed to our contractor. Riley Road, jumping across town, a lot of work has been completed since we last met. All the driveway approaches and sidewalks are now poured. All the storm sewers in the ground, all the HMA, the asphalt patching is complete. The asphalt surfacing is complete. Shoulder stone is scheduled to go in tomorrow. Fine grading and sod placement is scheduled to go in on Wednesday if the rain cooperates. And then what that leaves us with is really striping, installation of new mailboxes and signage that should all be wrapped up next week. So nearing the home stretch on that project. Fordyce, a lot of work happening out at Fordyce. Primarily, it comes down to the 2 categories: is all the private utility relocations are still moving forward. Nearing the end of that, we've been installing water main for a couple of weeks now. The water main has progressed from John Bart Road west. We are near the entrance to the Morningside neighborhood and are working on testing that area to the north, sort of that initial water main phase. We have also, since the last meeting, we've extended the closure all the way over to Grant Street. Per conversations at this meeting, we did install some small signage to help direct traffic to the new northern temporary entrance for Centenary United Methodist and the Mental Health America of Boone County facility. So those we're asking for people that go to those buildings to use that Essex Street temporary entrance. Next steps, really water construction. Water testing continues on that first phase. Water construction will continue from Morningside over to Grant. Storm sewer structure delivery has started, and then they'll be continuing as they wrap up utility work going into setting the final grade on the earthwork and getting ready for soil stabilization. We will use lime stabilization, but we'll use a slurry stabilization, which cuts down a lot on the dust. The road remains closed to all traffic east of Grant Street, except for local traffic at this time. We just ask for everyone's patience and caution as you do travel through that area, as there's a lot of work going on and a lot of people at risk in that site at this time. The Noble Street project, we closed our RFP on the 15th and have a report that we are just waiting on NDOT to review. The one respondent that we got from Shrewsbury, but we got about 6 other regret letters or non-submittal letters from other contractors. So that's what we needed to finalize this authorization from NDOT so that we can begin negotiation on a contract. And move that forward. Keep in mind for a 2029 letting on that project. Active living program. Hopefully many of you have seen the directional signage going up around town. We are down to 4 signs left to go in. Foundations are expected to be happening really in the next 2 days, and then signage installed by the end of next week. So we're nearing the end of that. The 180 makeover program, current project at the top of the list is the patio for the Boone County Cake Company. We've gotten some additional feedback from the owner on revisions to their RFP, and we'll be putting that back out on the street here shortly. And we'll look to table that award again and look to the first meeting in August, on August 12th, for a recommendation. Stone Eater Park, going to park projects now. A lot of activity happening in Stone Eater Park as we near the end. We are probably about 3 weeks away from wrapping up trail construction. At this point, Cross Country Trail 1 and 3 are complete. Work continues on Cross Country Trail 2. All 4 skills trails are now complete. We're doing some additional material hauling in for the construction of Cross Country Trail 2. Milestone is back on site as of this morning, doing fine grading, topsoil placement, installing of a couple of additional drainage culverts, and basically we're getting ready to seed. So hopefully we're going to begin seeding operations. We're working on some proposals from contractors right now. Hopefully we'll be able to award that and begin seeding here in a couple of days, all in getting ready for that October grand opening. Oh, and signage. We're working on final signage copy with the designer so that we can start staking final trail signage, which would be the last real trail construction phase of the project before we can open. The Old Street Garage Master Plan, we're really just focusing on wrapping up some online surveys. I want to thank the mayor for some help he offered on that and putting this online survey together so we can get that out to the public and keep the planning of that reuse of the Old Street Garage on track. Let's see, Big Forehead Trail Portalet restroom project that we opened at the last meeting. Sadly say we only had one respondent on that, and that was Atlas Excavating. And that was quite above our budget that we've set forward with the project. But given the fact we only had one respondent, it does give us the ability to basically negotiate a post-bid change order with them. So we're working on that, trying to right-size that project, leaving no stone unturned, also looking at other funding sources, perhaps in parks and in active living funds, that we could get that project to a manageable scale so that we can move forward. So hopefully I'll have no real updates tonight, no decisions. We'll keep that tabled until we get some more concrete numbers back from our contractor. So that will be a revision to the agenda later on. Reese Park parking improvements. Yeah, again, John mentioned this. Want to thank the folks at Triangle. They did a great job there on wrapping that project up in a timely manner. Our next other smaller project that we got our eyes set on with the HVAC upgrades at the Southside Fire Station, the fire headquarters down there. I don't have a definitive schedule yet, but those materials were supposed to start showing up in August, and looking for installation to be coordinated here shortly. And then last but not least, the DPW projects. The resurfacing program continues. Primarily, we've done a lot of work up in the Lakeshore core area and those neighborhoods east of there. The Trotwood Farms area was also resurfaced. Blair Street has been resurfaced. So just trying to round out those projects with some improvements down on Indianapolis Avenue. We've also got areas of Hallbaker Road and an access road down there, an unnamed access road that we're resurfacing. Kind of that triangle that goes around the Case dealership. We're also then looking at resurfacing out at Mount Zion Road in Garofalo, and then wrapping things up with the big project on Anderson Lane. So we continue to look for updates there as we go through the construction season. Out of the Leap District, really nothing has changed at this point. Work continues with the construction of South Witt Road, including the roundabout intersection at County Road 300. All the other projects at this point really have reached a certain level of completion that they are open for traffic. So Witt Road South is the last really remaining construction associated with this first phase of the Leap District. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin from the board? No. From the public? Thank you, sir. All right, next will be Plan Department in Bontrager.
Evening, board members. Since the last Board of Works meeting on July 8th, the planning department completed 134 building inspections and issued 89 additional permits. Of those total permits, there were 11 of them that were new single-family permits. So again, still seeing great activity there on the residential side and also on the commercial side. I know of those 134 building inspections, I've got my primary inspector that goes out to the lease site every day. For every morning, he's out there for 3 or 4 hours. So seen a lot of strong activity on that, both residential and commercial side there, continuing through the summer. On the code enforcement side, I think the trend is continuing what I've talked about for the last couple of months. Significant amount of activities taking place, 85 total investigative activities, which includes 9 new inspections and 21 re-inspections. On the new case side, again, 147 new cases since July 8th. Grass and weeds and trash and debris are a significant part of that. So kind of keeping track over the last 13 weeks, and activity really picked up. We're at about 358 new cases in the last about 3 months. So very, very strong activity. And on that front, I'm pleased to report that we have made an offer that was accepted to an individual for our code enforcement position, our second one to help McCade out to relieve some of the activity that you see on this list. Andrew Stevens will start on August 14th, about a little over 3 weeks from today, and we'll be helping McCade out on the code enforcement side, relieving some of that volume that she's been managing thus far, and then helping to do that moving forward, and also reintroduce or rejuvenate some of the other code enforcement programs that we had previously. And so really excited about that, having him on board in the middle of August. And then also we are in the middle of doing interviews for our administrative assistant position. I think maybe we have one more interview to do, and then hoping to make a decision on that relatively soon too, and have that individual start likely or ideally in August as well. So that is all I have for reporting this time. Be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? Public? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, next will be Public Works Department. Jason Lawson.
Good evening. Since our last Board of Works meeting, start with the street department. They continued mowing easements right away and vacant properties. We used 4 tons of asphalt repairing potholes, replaced and repaired 13 street signs. They continued painting the curbs yellow for no parking. And then we had some storm damage cleanup from that large storm we got last week. Stormwater department, they completed a replacement on a catch basin at 1310 North Grant Street. They completed a replacement on a catch basin at 265 Anderson Lane prior to paving. They repoured a curb and reset a casting on a catch basin on Tahoe Drive. They televised the storm pipe on Shorewood Drive all the way to the pond for inspection and responded to 326 locates. The inspections department did 13 SWIP inspections, 24 right-of-way inspections, and 6 stormwater inspections. And I was also going to let everyone know that the chipper is out again this week due to the fact that we had the storms last week. So, any questions?
Thank you, Jason. Any other questions for Jason? Public? Okay, thank you, sir. And last but not least, Communications and Community Development, Joe LePage. Nice shirt, by the way.
Yeah, we got the memo there. Evening, everyone. Couple of brief updates. Unite Under the Lights, if you didn't know already, is back for 2024, taking place on Saturday, October 5th. We have booked the band. We have worked with the 1830 Chop House on a menu. That'll be under the catenary lights of Meridian Street. More details are coming up, but this is the white tablecloth event, the multi-course meal, the nice orchestral music in the background, and being able to enjoy our downtown community. Also, in our event coordinator, the part-time position, a second round of interviews is currently taking place. They actually begin tomorrow and last for the rest of the week. We're hoping to finalize a hiring later on this week to have some a new staff member to add to the team. That's all I've got.
Joe, any other questions for Joe? Public? Okay, thanks, sir. All right, that concludes department head reports. We'll move on to old business. The first item Kevin mentioned in his report was the Big Four Trail, Sam Ralston Trailhead Improvement Award. But again, there was only one response, and so we want to have some further discussions with that. So we're going to motion to table item A at this moment.
Make a motion, we table item A.
Motion tables, there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item is tabled. All right, next will be a project award then for the 180 Makeover Program for the Boone County Cake Company. Kevin? Or is this tabled as well? Or
That table too?
We are tabling this one as well. I mentioned this briefly, but basically working with the owner and some contractors that have been looking at the project with the owners, just refining the RFP so that we can get equal competitive bids out there, or quotes, I should say. This is below the bidding threshold, but we have not yet issued that RFP based on this input that we received, which should be issued in the next 24 hours, but we need to give at least 10 days of response time on that. So it'll be the meeting on August 12th when we'll be.
Show a motion to table then, item B under old business.
I make a motion, we table item B.
Motion, second.
Second.
From Alan, all fair say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, a lot of things laid up on the table. All right, next will be new business now, unless there's any other old business from the board. Okay. First item up is the 2024 street surfacing program change order number 1. Kevin.
Thank you. Just bringing this before you as this is a change order to add line items to that contract that weren't originally in the bid documents. So all of the projects were bid out as separate projects that had their own series of line items for unit price payments. But these 5 projects 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 originally did not have ADA removal and replacements in those projects, and we've wanted to add. We've been working with our ADA coordinator and found a couple of those ADA ramps that were out of compliance. They actually weren't too old. Some of the rules have changed. Some of the compliance issues are relatively minor, but since we're there, we're doing it. We feel it's best to take care of this. And it's also a requirement of our community crossing bond that we address the ADA issues. So again, we're just adding these ADA ramp removal and replacements to these 4 projects. The total works out to be 14 additional ramps. They're using the same unit price that was established for the other projects that already did have unit prices for these ramps. So again, it's 14 additional ramps at $1,800 a piece for a total of $25,200. So again, change order 1 to the 2024 resurfacing project by DC Construction for a total of $25,200.
Any questions on that from the board? Okay, would entertain a motion then to approve change order number 1 for the 2024 street surfacing program.
Make a motion that we approve change order number 1 to the 2024 street resurfacing program as presented.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All fair say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Kevin. All right, next up will be policy updates from the Lebanon Police Department. Major Hood.
Good evening. I've got 5 policy updates that I'll be requesting approval for tonight. The first one here is the policy 700 department-owned and personal property. Where this update derives from is a requirement that we have a written directive regarding the care and property and maintenance of department-issued equipment. The language that you see is the recommended addition to the policy.
Questions on that? Okay.
The next one is going to be a little bit of a tougher read, I think, on this. We've been talking for the better part of the last year on a state mandated policy on the uniform statewide policy on deadly force. It rolled out on the 1st of July now. The requirements the state puts on us tell us that we need to adapt this policy just as we've received it. We can't make any additions or subtractions, change the font so it looks a little out of sync with what the way the rest of our manual looks, but this is the approved policy on here. So,
Questions on that from the board?
Is this a new one or?
yeah, effective the 1st of July, this is an entirely new
So it
policy.
supersedes what we have now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Statewide policy.
Yeah.
Yep.
The third one is outside employment. Once again, this is an accreditation standard that requires us to specify that members working outside overtime are considered on duty. And that's just overtime that comes through our department, and it may be security at another location, but it's been approved by the chief. People that volunteer or sign up for those details have to be considered as on duty.
Questions on that? No, from an implementation perspective, so how does that work if they're Like if they're working, for example, a private, like they need some traffic control near, like if we're assisting someone else with that,
A
right?
different entity,
I mean-
like a show venue or a book sale or something like, how does that?
Yeah, I mean, they're not actually on our clock though, per se, right? They're just,
Only, where that comes from is only if it is a detail where, say, for example, Walmart says, hey, we need officers to work security. The chief agrees to that and directs us to put out, okay, we're going to fill slots Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 12. We're not necessarily paying them on that. Walmart would still pay that.
Right.
But if something happens when those guys are performing those duties at Walmart, they would be considered
They're on
on
duty.
duty.
On
Yeah.
duty?
okay.
Okay, that's good.
Any other questions?
No,
Okay, thank you.
Personal communication devices was the next one on here. This is just a clarification of a previously issued policy that gives a little more guidance or detail on when we can access a member's personal communication device. And oftentimes it's if somebody has their phone and they're using it to conduct department-related business, on there, then that kind of is what this policy addresses for us to be able to go in and retrieve that information if we needed to. If you have a personal communication device and you're not accessing department materials or anything like that, then it's same as just a private phone.
Questions? Okay.
And the final one is the use of force review board. And this is an accreditation standard, once again, that, well, you can see that a member shall be placed, or shall be removed from a line duty assignment pending a documented and meaningful review of the incident.
Questions on that from the board?
No.
Okay.
Ending your questions, I have no other updates at this time.
Raise your hand. Any other questions on that for him? Okay, we entertain a motion then to approve the policy updates as presented.
make a motion, we approve the policy updates as presented.
Motions are second.
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That is approved. Thanks, sir. All right, that concludes what I have for new business. Anything from the KIP board? Okay, on the claims then, we'll entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion to approve the claims. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any further announcements for discussion? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, our next Board of Works meeting will be Monday, August 12th at 5:30 PM. We are adjourned. City Council's up next.